Hello and good evening, everybody, on this Sunday. That says Monday there. Why does it say Monday? Let me change that because this is Sunday, right? It's Sunday. It is January the 4th. Hang on. Let me make the correction here since I'm live. Okay, there it is. It is Sunday. Welcome in. This is 270 weather for the 270 area code and beyond. I'm Chris Allen. Thanks for tuning in on this January 4th. Well, it's been kind of an interesting day as far as starting out very cold this morning and then getting as warm as we did. I'll show you the numbers in a moment. But one of the first things I want to talk about is the hike that's already starting for Thursday, Friday, maybe even a little bit on Saturday. Now we do have a storm system coming in, but I know that some of you have already seen on social media that this is potentially going to be as big severe weather thing, and it's going to be it's going to be so bad. I mean, the hype has already started, and it's way too soon for that. We're talking about the end of this week. Now, there is a cold front coming in, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you here in a moment why this is all way too soon to be hyping it up as far as severe weather. And most of what you're seeing on social media are these unnamed people that generate or create their own something weather center from a location, but they don't put their name. You notice they never put their name. It's Central Ohio Weather Center or Lower Mississippi Valley Severe Skywarn, there's all kind. They're all thinking that they've got these big names, but they don't use their name, like their actual name, and see that gives them, a reason to just post this like there's some big operation somewhere, and they're really not. I mean, it's just somebody, that's kind of like me. I did a little rearranging today. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm trying to make a bigger, make my room look bigger when I do this. But anyway, give it some depth. But they're trying to impress you with a big name, but then they never put their personal name. Now, some of them do, but most of them don't. And they're storm chasers. They're chasers. So-and-so Ohio Valley Chasing Service, they'll come up with some name like that, and they're already posting how terrible things are going to be this weekend. Well, stand by. I'm going to tell you how it really is and the way it really looks. I'll start right now with how the weather looks at the moment here on this Sunday evening here at just about 7:30 p.m. And you can see we do have a few clouds, but there's no precipitation of any kind anywhere across the 270. Everything's looking pretty fine at this hour. Now, here is a look at the numbers from today. And as you can see, we had a high of 49. We almost made it to 50. Yeah. 3 degrees warmer than the normal of 46. That was nice. It started to feel nice. It started to look nice during the afternoon. And it was one of those days where, it started cold. Look at that low of 24. 24 is where we started in Bowling Green, Kentucky this morning for an official low. No precipitation for the past 24 hours. All right, let's go and let's hit a few more of our normal graphics here. We start with the current situation, and here at 7:30, temperatures are back into the 30s. Right now, most everybody in the mid 30s, even a few 40s showing up where you see some of the lighter blue. Temperatures today, the highs were in the mid 40s, even close to 50. Let's see if anybody hit 50. Oh, look down there. Clinton County, Albany. Now, the locals call it Albany. It looks like Albany, and it is Albany. But to the locals, you go down there and you say, hey, what's going on in Albany? 50 was your high today. We had some that got awful close to 50. How about the low temperature this morning? Woo, chilly. It was chilly. Look at those 20s, low 20s. Was there a 19, 18, 19? Todd County. Look at that. Elkton had a low of 19. Whew, this morning. Over here in Somerset. Is that Somerset? Yeah, Pulaski County. A low of 19 as well this morning. Lord, that's cold. Of course, no precipitation past 24 hours for anybody. Winds are currently from the Kentucky Mesonet Network out of the northeast, northeast, kind of light and variable, but somewhat out of the north and east. All right, let's go to the maps, and I'll show you what we are going to expect. Now, I know some of you are concerned. Here's Rita. She says, I hope no severe storms. Thanks for the update. Well, you're welcome, Rita. I hope no severe storms either, but, you know, some of the hype casters, some of the grandstanders on social media, they're already over this. They're already putting up maps and, look at this. Look at this big red orange circle here. And, this could be bad. This could be, well, let me put some of that to rest right now. Here's a look at what's going on. High pressure in control. Of course, now we're not expecting any kind of bad weather the next few days. It's going to be nice this evening, a little cloudy at times, as you saw on the satellite. Look at the wind flow. Oh, yeah, it's coming out of the south and west, which is going to be with us tomorrow, and I think it's even going to be a little breezy tomorrow as the southwesterly winds begin to pick up. And we do have a system out in the plains that we'll try to work in as we get into Monday afternoon. Here's Monday evening. It gets a little closer. Notice now these isobars, these lines of equal pressure are not that close together, but I still think we could have a somewhat breezy afternoon tomorrow. You know, like a 10 to maybe 15 mile per hour breeze at times. This is 6 p.m. tomorrow evening. Now we're going to 6 a.m. Tuesday ahead of this warm front. And this is not the big system that's coming in for the weekend that they're all hyping about. This is a system that's going to cross over the area as we get into Tuesday. There will be enough lift for some light rain showers as we head into Tuesday. And we're talking about maybe 30% coverage. Now, that means probably 3 out of 10 of you will get some rain. The other 7 out of 10, the majority, probably won't see that much. This is on Tuesday. But the warm front itself is providing that lift. So here we go with this system into Tuesday afternoon. Here comes a cold front. Now we will get a shift in the wind from the southwest to the west as the cold front comes through. This is 6 p.m. Tuesday evening. Now, we get a little break on Wednesday behind the front, maybe some patchy fog as we get up on Wednesday morning and high pressure is in control. Now, Wednesday looks pretty good. We'll see a few clouds and high temperatures in the low 60s. Now, the one thing I did not say, to back up a little bit, tomorrow I think we'll get at least 60, 61. I'll show you the numbers in a minute. And even on Tuesday, with those southwesterly breezes, I think we maybe could achieve mid 60s. Yeah, it's going to get unseasonably warm this week. Here comes a cold front, though. It really doesn't cool us down that much. On Wednesday, we may go down a few degrees, but still in the low 60s. And then here comes another chance of rain. This is the next system in line. Again, it's like all fall and even the beginning of winter, we keep having this never-ending parade of these little systems that come and go, and they come in and they go, and they produce a little bit of something and then they go. And here comes another one. This one's going to be on Thursday. Thursday morning, we're underneath the warm front, and there's going to be plenty of Gulf moisture to work with. And so Thursday, we're looking at rain, likely, maybe even periods of rain and some thunder. I think there could be. But as far as this looking like a severe weather setup, it's, well, at least on Thursday, it does not look that impressive. As far as, there are no signs that this is going to be a severe weather event. Now, that could change, of course, but as of right now, it just does not look that way. Now, I know it just reset on me. Let me get back to Thursday. Okay. So here we are, low pressure system, central Missouri with the warm front out ahead of it. Now let's go to Friday morning, and the low really doesn't move that much. There's actually an upper low and a surface low. And the two of them are going to they're misaligned at first, but then they try to get together. But this is not a very deep low. Look at it, 1008 millibar. Back to the west, it was a little stronger. And I'll show you that on the next map. So again, the severe weather threat, I just don't see it. I just don't. First of all, it's way too soon to even be thinking that this could be a severe weather situation. What you're seeing on social media when you see those things being posted, these are all these little giddy storm chasers that are they just can't wait to get out and just get out there and start running. And I'm like, just cool your jets, please. And you're scaring people for no reason. There is no evidence right now, as of Sunday night, January 4th, here at 7:38 p.m., that there's going to be severe weather. If anything, it doesn't look that impressive. It's going to be one of those situations right now, the way it looks, it's going to be one of those situations where there's going to be, look, that's coming. And then it comes in and it's kind of like, meh, no big deal. So let's everybody just cool, just calm down. There's nothing right now. They're just pulling all these little charts and they're not even agreeing with each other. You get one of them that pulls a chart and they go, it's the severe weather is going to be centered down in Mississippi. And then you get another one that circles the whole western central Kentucky and Illinois, Indiana, Boot Hill, Missouri, West Tennessee. All this is the area. I mean, they're this far apart. And the models, when you compare the GFS and the Euro and you get the NAM involved and all those, the different models, they're all like, they're not even in agreement. So again, they're doing it for clicks, likes, and shares. And unfortunately, now the social media companies pay them to put their crap out there. Well, this is Friday morning, showers and a few thunderstorms, and it will be somewhat breezy. But look, that front moves out pretty quickly. This is Saturday morning at 6 a.m., leaving behind a little bit of light rain. And by Sunday, it's gone. Now, I will tell you this, that on the backside of it, there will be some colder air. We're going to get into the mid 60s, breezy conditions. There will be some wind with this system. But as we get into Saturday night into Sunday, which is what you're looking at right here, you're seeing leftover precipitation that where it could get cold enough in the higher elevations, of eastern Kentucky, there could be a little mixy stuff. Because we'll go from 60s to 50s on Saturday, down to the 20s Saturday night, and only get up into the low 40s on Sunday, next Sunday, a week from today. Well, let's take a different look. All right. Here's a look from the European model, which is becoming, and I've stated it here before, it is becoming the model of choice. Not just this one. There are others that are pretty reliable, but there are a lot of them now that are starting to go AI, artificial intelligence. And some of those maps and graphics that you're seeing on these no-named Weather Center storm chaser pages, that's what they're pulling. They're pulling AI because they think it's cool. Oh, artificial intelligence. Oh, man, I can't. Ooh, we get to pull some of this stuff. Well, I mean, artificial intelligence, it's like anything else. It's got its good side and it's got its bad side. And it hasn't been around long enough to be reliable. I mean, it's something that we're just going to have to, I'm just not convinced yet that it's what we should be showing you. It's all right for us to look at it and go, well, I see some flaws here. I see things that, if you go back to what we call the analogs, where you go back and you compare the same kind of pattern that we're in to something that happened maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago, and we do a comparison. That's okay, but the AI, I'm just not trusting it completely right now, but we'll see. So this is not AI. This is the Euro forecast. And here we go into the current situation and look at the ridging and the flow here. We've got the cold air that's just locked in at the Great Lakes, pretty much. And that's it. Even though it's been chilly, it started chilly this morning in the 20s, the overall pattern that we're in right now is going to be a very warm flow. The next few days, we will be in the 60s pretty much every day. So here we go into Monday. And you can see now here comes our low. This is more of an upper low. And look, it's just kind of 1,000 millibars. It's not very strong. It's just kind of in the upper flow, just kind of floating around. Now it will produce a little bit of rain and some snow and mix for the southern Great Lakes on Tuesday. And, we may get a little, as you see right here, a little something, just light rain. As I mentioned earlier, Tuesday afternoon, evening, there could be a few showers. Again, the chance is only about 30%. There will be some wind. Notice now the low starts to strengthen a little bit. It goes to 998 millibars instead of 1,000. But also look at the tight gradient. Look at these equal lines of pressure pretty close to each other as that little line comes through. So, yes, there will be wind, like a wind of 20, 25 miles per hour from the south and west, or mostly west, as you're seeing there as the low passes by. So there will be this little front that I showed you coming through on Tuesday. But that's not a big deal. That moves out pretty quickly, as you see there. Now the low strengthens a little bit more, but look where it is. It's going right up toward Lake Erie, away from us. Now, if that low were closer to us, then I might say, hey, there could be something we need to watch there. But now the bigger deal this week is going to be what happens after Tuesday. Here we go into Wednesday, pretty quiet. Rain snow line stays to the north. We're in that warm flow, and it becomes, the ridge goes into the middle part of the country. And here comes, we'll start to see troughing, colder air starting to come in as we go. Now, here is the next low pressure system, and it's already at 999 millibars. It's starting to strengthen a little bit as we get into Thursday. And the flow here, Pacific flow coming in with the low moisture, and look at how the winds are behaving here out of the Gulf. There's more of a Gulf southerly flow. So the two will work together to bring rain our direction. This starts Thursday, say Thursday afternoon, and you'll see the rain move in. Now, that low, you've got an upper low, and then you have what I was saying a while ago. There's going to be this little surface low. This is more of an upper low back to the west. But here comes the surface low and the moisture as we get into Thursday. Now, I don't know why the lines didn't. Okay, it's only letting me go that far. I just updated this. Let me try to update it again. Let's go back. Let me get the earlier. Okay, here we go. Into Friday. Thursday into Friday. Look at the rain. Okay. This does not look that impressive, although the winds are pretty tight as we get into, say, Thursday night into Friday. Here's our system out west that's with the trough now, with the big surge of cold air that's going to come in from the Rockies. So we get a clash of systems. We get the warm air, warm, humid air, and it will become humid. I mean, the dew points will be in the 50s, maybe even close to 60 as we get into Thursday and Friday. So that does bear watching. But there's still a lot of disparity on how this evolves. Notice the low pressure systems are not very strong. Look at that. In fact, they weaken, and this line begins to weaken as it moves in on Friday. So it may be like we've seen before. There's talk about severe weather, talk, things getting posted and spread around on social media, and then by the time it gets here, it's just kind of like, well, that wasn't a big deal. I mean, that's the way it looks right now. Things can change. It's still a long way off. We're talking about really Friday. If anything's going to happen, it's going to be Friday. And here comes our trough, and here comes the cold air. And then the surge of moisture here continues to push off to the east. But that low pressure system is not all that impressive once it gets here. In fact, it weakens. You get all this. This is Saturday now, or Friday night into Saturday, to me, that looks like just a lot of rain. And really, the rainfall amounts, we're looking at maybe an inch. Somebody maybe could pick up a little bit more than an inch of rain as we head into Thursday night and Friday night into Saturday. Somebody out there could pick up an inch. I'm looking at this as more of a rain producer and not necessarily a severe weather producer. Right now, that's the way it looks. And keeping in mind, there is disagreement between the models. So the Euro is looking more just heavy rain. There will be some wind, you see here, as the system comes through, tight lines of pressure here. The winds will then shift from the southwest to the west and become a little more northwest as we go through time. But here comes the cold air, and it will arrive. Look at that trough. As the low deepens over the Great Lakes, look at that, 994 millibar. But again, it's a long way from us. It's way up at Lake Michigan. It's nowhere close to us. So when the cold air comes in, yes, it'll be colder, but it's not going to hit all at once. This is Saturday night. It will turn colder. Any snow for us? I don't see any. See that? Now things begin to calm down as we get into Sunday and next Monday. The winds relax. We're seeing highs in the 40s. This is Monday into next Tuesday, and more snow around the Great Lakes. And there we go into next Wednesday. We're going to stay cold. The trend as we get into next week, not this week, but into the next week, is going to be colder. So all of this warm air that we're talking about being here this week is not going to stay. It's going to go bye-bye, Felicia. Bye-bye. Okay, here's a look at the blender. And you can see that the temperatures, this is the blend of models, 60, 63, 62, 67, so getting close to 70. And of course, that period right there, Friday into Saturday, you can see it visually here as we get almost to 70, and then boom, the temperatures drop. 68 to 53, down to 30 by early Sunday morning, and then highs only in the 40s, which is where we're supposed to be for this time of the year. 40s much of next week. So right now, we have seen it twice already. Big temperature swing. We get into sometimes in the 70s. Remember, we hit a record, 2 weeks ago now? We hit that record. Then we had another system come in where it got really warm. We're talking about severe weather maybe. It didn't happen. You get a big change in temperature, and then it just kind of wasn't that impressive. I'm not saying that's the case, but you know what I'm seeing, right there with these numbers, it just doesn't appear to be a big deal for now. But like I said, that could change. Okay? It could change. But I'm going to have to I will, of course, keep an eye on it and let you know if things do change. A word from I want to, in just a moment, I'm going to tell you, you see that's different back there behind me, Route 66. There's a reason why that's back there. I will tell you about it in just a moment. After we have a word from our sponsor, R&R Controls. And they want you to be ready. for any kind of severe weather that comes our way. And that's why they're talking about the Generac generator, the number one name in generators. And I mean, it's only the beginning of the new year. It's only January. And we've had severe weather in January. We've had ice. We've had snow. We've had wind in previous years. As I say, and are saying at News 40, weather is, it's always severe weather season. Well, wouldn't it be nice to know that you've got a Generac generator and it's going to kick in and it's going to turn on anytime your power goes out, and it's going to be ready to go because it's hooked up to your house. That's what that little panel is right there. It's the panel that controls when the generator kicks in. And it's not going to stand out. It's not going to be like standing out in your yard and everybody's going to go, what is that thing in their yard? You know, you can put a generator somewhere in your yard and, put little nice plants, something that's not going to cover it up, but just make it look nice. It's not going to be that obtrusive. But some people, your neighbors, will look at that and go, interesting. Generator. It's not a bad idea. But I can guarantee you the first time the power goes off, they don't have a generator and you do. You know what's going to happen? A couple of things. They're going to come over and say, hey, knock, 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 knock on your door. Hey, can we come over until the power comes on? Because you have power. The lights go off, but within a matter of seconds, sometimes 5 seconds, I've seen it happen. After the power goes off, the Generac generator kicks in and everything is back on. Your computers, your refrigerator, your freezer, your stove, your microwave, your TVs, everything is back on just like it was. And then when the regular power comes back on, it just automatically knows and it shifts gears, and then you're back on the grid. No harm, no foul. You don't have to flip a switch. You don't have to plug anything. You don't have to do like a lawnmower and try to start it and then it throws out all the exhaust fumes. We're not talking about that kind of generator. We're talking about something like that runs quietly, but then kicks in a few seconds after your power goes off. Wouldn't that be cool? And they're not as expensive as you think they are. How about talking to R&R Controls? Tomorrow's Monday. They'll be back at work after the holidays, and they would love to talk to you about getting one of these and come out and show you just exactly what they'll do and how much it'll cost, and they'll work out a payment plan with you. So why not just at least let them come out and look and see what they can do for you? And not just your home, but we're also talking about businesses. When you're without power, you're losing money. 270-777-2024, the number to call. Again, that's 270-777-2024. Or you can go to rnrhvac.com. You can go to rnrcontrols.com, and they're also on Facebook. But tomorrow they'll be back at work, ready to serve you and talk to you about a generator. That's R&R Controls, because with R&R, you will never be without. I promise. You'll never be without. And it's so cool what they do to do that. Let's take a few of your comments here. Jed, so mow the yard before the freeze. Well, yes. But I mean, if you feel like you need to mow the yard, I mean, maybe do you need to mow the yard? I mean, it's just, one of those things. If you feel like you need to, go ahead. Let's see. Rita, I hope no severe storms. Thanks for the updated forecast. You're welcome, Rita. Yeah, I mean, I have to fight the hype all the time. And like it says right here, I put that there for a reason because there are new people and you saw the numbers. Hopefully some of you saw the numbers that I posted. For 2025, the total number of views that this podcast had was nearly 20 million. Now, that's not 20 million people, okay? I just want to be clear about that. It's not 20 million people. If it was 20 million people, oh my goodness, that would be incredible. But many of you who come here often, and then some people who, they'll see it and they'll go, oh, let me check that out. That's a view. And it could be for a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds, or it could be the whole thing. But it counts as a view. So last year, total, I had just close to 20 million views. And I have to thank you, each of you, for that. Because, it's in this day and age, there is a lot of hype. There is a lot of inaccurate speculation. And like if you were an attorney and you were in court, conjecture, there's a lot of that stuff that's just thrown out there from people that you don't know, and they call themselves these big weather centers. And they're just hyping it up because they want you to click, like, and then share. And when it gets shared, it comes back to me, and it comes back to people like me who are the trusted voices of reason when it comes to weather and forecasting. And then we have to take it apart and go, don't believe this. This is all being thrown out there to get you scared and to get you pacing the floor for no reason. Just dismiss it. And even if I'm not your trusted voice on weather, I mean, I would like to think that I am. There are others out there that are trusted voices that you can rely on to just tell you the truth so that you're not going around all crazy and worried and pacing the floor and, just what's going to happen. There's no reason to do that. And all these people are doing, and most of them are kids. They're just, teenagers that are just getting this data and they don't know how to use it. They don't know how to interpret it. And they start their own chase teams and all this kind of stuff. And they're just waiting for that next moment to get out there and get in their car and put on all these crazy lights and just get out there, and they're going to go chase that tornado because they want to get some video and get a picture of it and put it on social media. And I'm like, you know what? You just need to slow down. You just need to just take a breath and not get so worked up about these things. How about spending all your time, if you're that excited about weather, and I love your passion, I love that you're getting excited about the weather, but let's channel that excitement and let's use it to prepare people for things that are coming, that might happen. Let's not get them worked up about, here comes this big thing. Here comes this big storm. Look at me. Look at it. That really is what it's all about. Look at me. Look at me. Again, they're immature. They're young. And I don't want to squelch their passion, but it has to be channeled. It has to be focused in the right way so that we're not panicking people and we're not, ruining their day or their lives over something that might not happen. It's about preparedness. So it's just got to be channeled. It's got to be done the right way, or else it's hype. And it's all done for the numbers in social media. Numbers are nice. They're very nice, and I like them too. But you've got to you got to be consistent. You got to build trust. You got to build relatability with the audience. You've got to know your audience. And a lot of these kids don't. They're just after the numbers. They don't know who you are. And you don't know who they are. So just be careful about who you're trusting. Doug Schultz. Too much talking, not enough weather. Are you talking about me? Too much. Are you talking about them? I mean, I just gave the weather. This is the end where I go through comments and I talk about. This is talking about weather, Doug. I appreciate your comment, but I'm not sure what you mean. You can go back and watch. I gave the weather just a few minutes ago. Okay. I'm going to stop. I will see you guys in the morning on News 40, 6, 9, and noon. And then I'll be back tomorrow evening on your Monday to do this again. In the meantime, God bless you. Thank you for watching and take care. God bless.